and then we'll get that done. So Totally Moo is the community manager that works at Paradox. So he's a Paradox employee, not a Colossal Order employee, but he is, I believe, the head community manager of the Cities Skylines community. Okay. Give him a ring. Call Skype. Like, call mobile. That's not what I want at all. I'm calling you. When I'm calling you. Hello.
Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
It's fine. Oh shit, I realized I was on both your stream and Skype at the same time. Hi. Oh,
There we
I
go.
am really happy to be home and be able to watch streams the entire night.
Yeah, that's right. You were working today. So you can always tell people in this sort of industry. It's like you work all day and then you get home and you're like, well, I guess I'm gonna watch videos about the game that I've been working on all day.
Honestly, I would say we play all day and then we just continue when we get home. It shouldn't really be considered work.
Well, I don't know. You have to wrangle a community. I know that can be pretty nuts. It's like herding cats.
Herding cats?
Yeah.
Oh, herding. Oh, I thought
yes,
you
yes,
meant
yes.
hurting. I was
Not
like,
hurting.
No. No, I mean, it's a really fun job to manage a community, especially one as nice as the Skylines one, because they're incredibly easy to handle. To be honest, they're like the least volatile community I've ever encountered.
Really?
I have to say, yeah, and I've been a part of the internet for a long time and seen, just every kinds of groups, and I don't know, these people are just so incredibly nice and informative, and I barely consider it a job anymore, especially not with this group of people.
I think you're just sucking up, but all right, we'll let that go. How long have you been with Paradox?
3 years soon, in like a month.
Wow. Did you start off as a community manager, or working in that sort of field?
I actually started off without a title, to be honest. I got employed as kind of a general jack of all trades marketing, and then I just moved into a community role, which is actually, it's called a community developer, my official title, but no one really understands what that is, so I just call myself a community manager publicly.
Right, that makes more sense. But it's still, you know what? I like the idea of developing a community. It certainly makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's a very multi-sided job, and I guess it's different to many community manager positions in that it's more marketing oriented, with the whole streams and social media and, being present in every channel possible. So it's a lot broader, but then it's incredibly fun too. I mean, there's few things that's more rewarding than just contributing to a budding community, especially when it's a game that has so much hype as Skylines.
Yeah, it's been blowing me away how full of hype people are about this, but I guess, there's definitely a craving for a good city builder out there. We've been a little shy on them lately.
Well, how are you liking it so far? I'm watching your stream right now. I'm trying not to, because it's incredibly hard to see you talk out of sync with the Skype call.
Oh, right.
But it looks like you've grown kind of substantially. What's your plan here?
No, I'm growing really, really well. Steady. That's the thing I always aim for is steady sort of growth that is under control. Because if you try to do too much too fast, you can discover you've got a horrible traffic problem, or at the very least, you have to put down so many services, but you can't really pay for the services yet, and that can be a big problem. You've got to, just take it casually, take it easy, make a change, see how that works, and then go from there.
You do have a lot of money right now, though, so I can see that you have a lot of expansion possibilities.
Well, I think it does help, of course, that I'm doing a lot of talking, so I'm probably not building quite as fast as I could be. But on the other hand, I don't know. That's the way I like to do it. Like this is one of those games that I always say is like, oh, it's really good to play while you're watching Netflix, because yeah, you make a change and then you sort of let it run while you watch an episode of whatever, and then make sure that everything is okay. Put out any fires that happen, metaphorically and otherwise, and then keep going. At least that's the way I tend to play city builders.
Yeah, definitely on the lower speeds. I mean, it's kind of a leisure game in that way. I often, or not often, but more often nowadays, play it when I work and just tab back and forth, because Yeah, you can just let it develop slowly, and as long as there's nothing, as you say, literally burning, then you're in a very good position. So, I don't know. I'm so looking forward to March 10th. I've been trying not to play so I can kind of join in on the hype at launch day, and it's so hard just to have the game sitting there and avoid playing it.
I'm sure a lot of people in your position would not be able to resist.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I've played roughly 30 hours, but still, that's nothing. That's what you played during the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, 30 hours can go by really fast in this, especially, I wanted to make sure that I sort of understood the basics enough that I could make a functional city before I started making videos, because I didn't want, civil engineers to come in and tell me how bad my city was.
This is just miles and miles better than anything I will ever do. So, as I've mentioned in the forums, I got one city up to roughly 35,000, and then everything seriously just crashed and burned when I was trying to just change one road because it was so badly planned, and everything would just choke point into these tiny junctions. So, I mean, this is a relatively well-functioning city by my standards, at least.
Well, it's going pretty well. I'm having a hard time. Some of these the intersection prefabs here. Sometimes I have a hard time placing them and not getting a slope problem, which is
Yeah,
bad because I'm terrible at making these interchanges. So I really was hoping I could just use the out of the box ones that I'd made ahead of time. But I think the game is going to force me to make another one of these on air, and I apologize to everyone who's watching.
I've actually, every time I do one, I just look at the one you start with, and then I try to kind of think after that and replicate that in real time. But yeah, I mean, placing them isn't always easy, especially when it's kind of wobbly ground. But hopefully that's something that's going to work out in most cases. And I think at least one of the ones we launched with is the roads aren't equally wide as the highways you start out with, so it's kind of dodgy when you try to place it there, but it works normally.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But honestly, I'm just really looking forward to seeing not replicate what they're doing, but get inspired by their traffic solutions and the way they're approaching the city, because I don't know, I just can't visualize it. It's insanely hard.
Yeah, I had to go and Google a bunch of interchanges ahead of time to try to get a sense of how it's supposed to work in real life. Now, I find it really easy to make an interchange that's big. If you're not trying to be tight on space, like what I'm doing here, I'm doing a big sweeping road, and yeah, it's not necessarily space efficient, but it's going to work fine. And I guess that's okay. But it's when you're trying to do things using the minimal amount of space possible that, at least for me, that's where it's like, oh my god, how do traffic engineers actually do this?
I know it's genius, especially since they're working with real buildings that they just can't delete on a whim or move around. I don't know. I'm just incredibly stoked for today. It's been super fun just watching all the streams and all the people that seem to be excited about the game. Now that they can see whatever they want and actually interact with people playing the game to a higher level. So the coming 7 days are going to be so much fun at Paradox. I don't know. I'm ridiculously looking forward to March 10th. That was actually kind of nice intersection. It's coming up in the stream now. The whole S shape you got going there.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the S shape. It's the one that's sort of off the other side. That's maybe taking a little bit more space, but I can always put things under there too, and it gives you more room for trees. And in real life, a lot of these are actually quite big, especially if they're not in the middle of the city.
Huge.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to make another industrial area over here. Let's see how that goes.
You can kind of excuse it as artsy, to be honest. Just say that it's thinking new and what's it called? Not mirrored.
Not symmetrical. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. It was totally intentional. You're right. I'm super good at this.
Look at that industry demand. Are you going to be? Oh, so that's where you're doing cargo there. Are you making an industry area?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make one that's just an isolated industry area. I don't know. I'll probably still have to feed in some residents. In fact, I can probably connect over here. I'm making heavy use of the fact that you can have a district that bans heavy traffic to try to keep the industrial traffic out of the way, because I find that a lot of the bottlenecks are heavy-duty industry bottlenecks. So
Yeah,
if you keep your
definitely.
industry traffic under control, I think that's a really important part of the game.
Especially in the early game when you're relying a lot of importing to kind of keep your commercial going, etc. It can clog up, those kind of feeble road networks that you have in the start. But policies, as you mentioned, they're a super powerful tool when you use them right, and it's another of those things that I just can't really grasp personally. Oh, holy crap! That was you have high demand when you just plop down a district and instantly it's filled to the brim with buildings.
I've been getting the pop-ups for like the industry demand for a while. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I should do something about that. Commercial will be the next one too, that I have to get something going. I've got some low density in the middle of Jonte Heights over here, so I might do a high density commercial. But yeah, lots of demand.
But how are you doing with public transit? Do you have any buses up running or metro or anything? Because this could be a really good opportunity for you to do like a commuting metro from your residential to the industry and kind of try to alleviate that traffic flow.
Oh, that's a good point. I have probably just when you were on your way home, I did finally set up a little bit. I don't have my entire city covered with buses yet. I've got them a little bit here by Derpy Turtle downtown. We've got a few rings. And yeah, doing some commuter buses might be a thing. Right now, I don't have any buses that go between my sort of individual little towns. But if I'm making an all-industry area, I should definitely do that. I have a question for you. How many buses can operate out of one bus depot?
Out of one bus depot, I think you get buses per line, to be honest, and then depending on the budget. So I think one bus depot could theoretically supply, or I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 99% sure that one bus depot could do the entire city.
Oh.
But then everything is going to flow from there, so that's going to clog up your traffic, if that makes any sense. But you could, I mean, if you place it outside the city or in a convenient location, you could still do everything from one place.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So yeah, you might want to spread them around if you've got a big city and you want the buses to spawn sort of closer to your goal. But other than that, interesting. And right now they are pretty good. My buses are basically isolated and very close to my highway is where my bus depot is.
Mm-hmm.
So they might actually be able to run fine. I built two of them because I don't know. I figured I'd need more than one, but I've got one turned off at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly if you, as you mentioned, just want to kind of relax traffic in an area or move it away. Because a larger city, you're at what, 25,000 pop?
Yeah.
You can go up to 1 million, and that's going to be just incredible amount of agents going around and wanting to go places, and traffic is going to be one of your core managing areas in that time. So then that's going to be a really powerful tool where you want to kind of just define where traffic heads from and to, together with places like the cargo terminal, that you really, you have the inflow of a certain resource, in this case being heavy traffic, that you can just dictate.
Right. Now, I can't imagine how a 1 million population city would feel in this. Like, even getting up to 25,000, it's like, oh my god, there's so much to worry about. It is such a serious endeavor to pull off. Getting this city to 1 million, that was really an achievement. Actually, is there an achievement for it?
Now that you mention it, I haven't even looked at the achievements for the game. It's one of the things that I try to like be excited for. So when I play the game for realsies, I'll be like, "Oh, look, achievement," and be super happy about that.
Nice. Well, as far as I can tell, I don't
so.
think I can just open the entire achievement list. Probably because the game's not live yet.
Oh, but you can see the preview ones.
Yeah, well, I can see the most recent ones. I've unlocked 12 of 33. The most recent one was one for making an asset. And they've got achievements for the various, crazy wonders. Oh, there. Metropolis, have 100,000 population in your city. Higher education, have over 70% of citizens highly educated. Wow, yeah, that's hard. Fill 5 landfill sites. Well, I'm well on my way to doing that, actually. What's your policy? What's your strategy with landfills and graveyards? Because they do fill up.
I'm the kind of person that enjoys having my citizens suffer. So I usually put a landfill between my industry and my residential area. So it kind of clogs traffic, and then it gets full, and then we always have this problem where that is the most full landfill because they always try to dump away from that, but they can never keep up the pace of a city. And then I do this huge just grid outside the city that I just fill with landfill. So it's one of those, Southern American trash yards that's just, I imagine people living there.
You have a very, very interesting strategy here. That's I'm not sure I'm going to subscribe to your particular philosophy, but I you know, kudos for for making a decision.
I don't know. I mean, have you seen the trailers for the game?
Yeah,
You know Borton, the original city there? That
right.
was one of my earlier projects that we realized was so bad that we kind of just had to put it in there. So if anything defines my city planning skills, it would be that. It's just, yeah, it's horrible. So why not just go all out, right?
Right, just commit.
Kind of pretend that it's intentional. Look at all those happy faces. I tried to get them to add like an audio cue to those happy faces, so it's like one of those mobile mini games where you kind of get the instant satisfaction. But that would kind of be too noisy, I guess. But I don't know. I just imagine the good feeling you get when you plop something down and it just kind of blips all over.
Yeah, ding 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 ding. Kind of like hitting a jackpot. There's the sound when there's a level up of a building, I think. And so when you put down something that makes people happy, if it's enough to get them to level up, I think at that point you'll hear a ping, ping, ping. You know, when you get the green arrows, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's a little sound. For that.
I think you get like a little satisfaction blend there. Actually, talking about leveling up, well, how's your land values like in the city? Because that's, I mean, if you want to raise your population powerfully, the biggest thing you can do is raise land value in residential areas, because these buildings, as they upgrade, most of the upgrades actually go into buildings that can just cater for a lot more residents. So your low density residential is going to be kind of medium if you actually get the land value to a higher level.
Oh, I see.
So as you see there in Derpy Turtle downtown that you have a quite a bit of larger buildings developing, and they look like they're low residential, right?
I think they were high.
Okay, maybe they are. I haven't really learned to distinguish all the models yet, but you can kind of get low-end residentials to get to that size. So if you want to get the 1 million metropolis, you're going to be able to just fill the entire 9 tiles, and then you have to ensure that land value is just insanely high everywhere. Oh, you're right, that's high.
There you go. And I do like when suddenly it's enough to reach a breakpoint where everything gets blue. By the way, this legend is, I believe, inverted for the leisure. You'll see that on screen soon. But like the ones who seem to have high access to all the parks are blue in the world, but the legend says that blue is low. So I think the legend needs to be flipped around.
It's actually a good catch there. I'll put it up in the Jira.
Oh, Jira's so good.
Jira is amazing, like for tracking everything. It's something we use all the time, but it's a good catch.
Land value, does it impact industrial zones as well?
Yeah, it impacts every kind of zone.
So I should be building parks in my industrial areas as well?
I mean, it doesn't have to be parks, but they will definitely do something. But generally, you want to keep land value and happiness high, especially if you want, you know, the industries to grow and level up. They don't have equally many levels as residential, at least not as far as I know. Most industry buildings have 3 levels, but it's affected by land value. And I mean, generally, you satisfy that craving by simply having, you know, emergency services and a hospital and everything like that nearby. So you shouldn't need too many parks. Their cravings aren't as extreme.
Okay. So if I check here, like the roads, if I've got hospital is green, fire is green, police. Police is not green. So this area probably needs a nearby police service, and then maybe they'll get a little happier. Well, they got the happy faces.
Now, this is one of the confusing moments when I'm watching your stream and I'm thinking, no, you're not looking at these things, but it's...
that lag, that 1 minute delay. No, the chat understands, because they'll be like yelling at me for something, and I'll be like, no, I already fixed that a minute ago. I'm sorry. I apologize. So other than making sure there's services and putting down parks, is there any other way to increase the land value? I mean, you've got these unique buildings. I guess that probably does a fair impact for value.
Yeah, there are tons of the unique buildings, and then you have the wonders that just do a lot for land value. But then you have stuff like, you know, noise pollution is going to do a lot. So, you know, you don't want to be near noisy ways, and then it's a comment that would affect the person living there, right? So it's ground pollution, noise pollution, services, parks, unique buildings. I don't know if like access to public transit, pretty much everything affects land value in some way.
Okay, so I need another police station over here. Does the big police station reach further? Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. See, I haven't really been building the big ones as much because I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's more cars, but who cares? But yeah, I'm looking at here, and it's like a massive radius that it covers.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're really efficient. They're like, as you see, they're pretty expensive, but they can cover a lot.
All right, I'm digging it. And I do like the unique buildings are awfully pretty. I haven't unlocked them all yet.
Yeah, there's, I mean, there's what, like 7 tiers or something?
Well, 5,000 children in elementary school for the aquarium. I don't like my kids that much. What the hell?
But you need to keep them educated, otherwise you can't transit into to an office city later.
Yeah, and definitely, I've got an elementary school capacity of 600 right now, and I've got 2,000 eligible, so I should probably get down some elementary schools.
Oh no, yeah, that's gonna clog up your higher educations too, right? Because if you don't keep pumping up the elementary education, they're not gonna be able to transit to the higher levels.
Right, so you need the elementary schooling before you can go to high school, and then you need high school before you can go to university?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I guess that makes sense. Oh yeah, I have like no coverage for this, so let's plop down a lot of this, making people a lot happier. By increasing happiness and land values, I must also be increasing my tax income, yeah?
I think so.
Or
No,
maybe
not
at least
e-
when they level up?
I
I
mean,
guess when they
you-
level up, you get more people, so you
yeah, you
sort of
get more
indirectly
people,
get more
they get
tax.
more income. So indirectly, I would say, but then I mean, generally, you can just push up the tax meter too and say you have really happy citizens. You can tax them more if you want more money. You could
Right.
probably punish them for living in your city.
So earlier, I think when you were transiting home, I spent some time setting up um, the cargo train station, and I just unlocked ships, so I'll probably want to set up some cargo ships there. Can you talk about the impact that cargo transportation capacity has on industry? Like, I put it down, and it actually felt like it was generating a ton of traffic because I'd get deliveries, which would spawn tons of trucks, and at the same time, tons of trucks were going to the cargo place. So, what's the sort of strategy you might want to use there?
I mean, generally, cargo is very good because you can really, dictate is a word I'm going to use a lot here, where you can really define where traffic's going to head from. So generally, if you don't have any kind of cargo trains or anything, everything that you import to the city is going to come from the outer limits. It's going to come from the roads, which means that the tourists and the citizens that are just traveling on the roads are going to share their main paths with industry, which is going to become a bigger issue soon. So what you can do with cargos, and then also you can do it with tourism trains and boats, is that you can take an entire group of vehicles and say, okay, I want you to move to and from here. And then you can much easier plan your road network so you know that, okay, these are going to travel here. And then, as you said, you can actually have the heavy traffic ban policy, so you can really easily just map out where everything is moving. And for example, so if you have an industry area that's easily connected to the cargo on one end and then has a clear path to like a back entrance to commercial, you're going to have a very good to and fro flow there where they never kind of mix, or not a lot at least, mix with the main traffic, right?
Right.
And then you can, of course, have several cargo destinations, so you can just block off a certain area of the city and be like, okay, no heavy traffic going through here, but we have 2 commercial districts on either end of the city, and we have one that gets an inflow from boats and one that gets from trains. So it's mostly a very powerful tool if you want to alleviate traffic in your city.
All right, I'm getting a sense of that now, especially now that I've got more than one cargo terminal. I think that's actually making a difference, because I think when I put down the first one, everyone started sending their goods there. But now that I've got more than one, each industrial area sort of has their own local cargo terminal. I think it's helping a lot.
Yeah, I mean, for having a pretty large city, I would say that you don't seem to have a lot of traffic issues. I'm seeing some clogs here and there, but nothing. I mean, you don't see the insane lines that you sometimes see on the highways, etc.
Yeah, I've got a little bit in one area that I'm looking at right now, and I'm actually tempted to throw down some one-ways here that might help to resolve it, but we'll see how it goes. Actually, this might be the situation I'm looking at now, which you're going to be seeing in a minute, might be a place where I actually add an extra intersection. Usually I like to avoid intersections because, traffic lights slow things down, but I think here people would benefit from being able to turn around and get back onto the highway. So I'll have to see.
Something you could probably do to ease up traffic even more too is, as you see, you have the a little ramp you made in the start that goes over the way. They are extremely efficient at making sure traffic doesn't stop up because it's not an intersection. They go above and beyond, so you can actually have like several layers of roads going over each other. So that's
Right.
something that I've seen a lot of the better builders do, is that they use the racing tool road tool just a lot. And then you can have just several of those ramps going over in several places and kind of have this crisscross, is that even a word, network.
Yeah. So you can almost create these sort of bypasses, these shortcuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the best cities I've seen have just one big or two big one-way roads going in the middle of the city that are barely connected to things, and then they have a lot of roads going over them. And I can't visualize how it works. I'm trying to do it with my hands here, but that doesn't work through the microphone. But basically, it's some kind of hacks. Matt uses it a lot, and he's probably the best player we have in the office. So I trust his judgment.
Someone's saying that I've got a one-way here that's screwing up the road, but I don't think this is a one-way. They might be talking about something else. That's always the problem with these chats, is there's a lot of desync into what's going on. I'm like, I don't know. This is all going in. This is all going in. This is going... Oh.
Oh, look at that. That is... Okay, I'm one way behind you, or... Yeah, this is... That intersection there is just really, really messy.
Yeah, I think it's because of the cargo station. There's a big backlog of stuff coming in and out of the cargo. And
Alright.
I think what I need to do, it would be nice if this whole area, I think, were turned into a one-way. That's what my top request for the game is, the ability to change a road from a two-way to a one-way.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you're upgrading, if you've got the one-way tool on and you click on a one-way road, just like flip the one-way road around. That would make me so happy.
That's two very good suggestions. I mean, we are looking forward a lot to the suggestions we're going to see post-release, because we know there are going to be a lot of just tiny improvements that people have seen that we have just overlooked or not been able to get to. And that's just one of the things that's on the list, is just make an even more powerful and broad road tool. But if you pause the game and you create new roads and you rezone them, usually you won't like lose anything doing that. But then it isn't as smooth as just directly upgrading.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that. It actually surprised me at first, because I'm used to other city simulators where if you delete the road, it instantly deletes the zone and any attached buildings as well. So I'm going to try to get a little bit of a smoother flow here by using some one-ways. I cross my fingers that it keeps things moving. I think that's really important with the cargo things, just because there's so many. If ever you're in a situation where someone's making a left turn into a cargo station, I think it slows down traffic way too much. Look at this. Oh, that's sexy. One-ways. That's the solution.
One-ways are insanely powerful if you use them right. You have a very big industry demand, friend. I have to say.
A very big what?
Industry demand. That orange meter is just going off the roof.
Yeah, I know, and I just built that other big area over here, and I'll be building some more, I think. More of these little industrial parks, and pretty close to the highway, I think. I've got a place north, I think on the other side of the road, that new industrial park you saw me build. I think I'm going to build another one on the north side of the road to try to fix that as well. These ramps here, these are working properly, yeah?
So what's your expansion plans for the city? Where are you going to build into?
I see one of the problems. Expansion plans for the city, I don't know. Just grow. I haven't figured out what the next tile I might buy is. I can actually buy some more right now. But I'm not sure.
Where you're going, like, I mean, I suppose you have to kind of foresee where you're heading. It seems like you have a lot of areas that you haven't even built into, but then maybe you want to, I mean, the island is nice.
The island is very cool, and if I buy the other half of the island, I like to make this a very sort of office-oriented place, you know, clean, shiny, all tall buildings.
Like a mini Manhattan.
Yeah, exactly. See, this actually works. It looks stupid, but it technically is functional.
So you have to fill me in on something here. There's a lot of people in the chat talking about a certain RAM that they're not very fond of.
Yeah, if you know those S that S ramp I'm doing in the other one, technically the sense of the ramps, the one-wayness of the ramp is sort of inverted. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. There's a backlog on one of the
I
ramps,
see
but
that.
I don't think it has to do with the direction. I think even if this ramp were coming from the other side, the backlog would be the same, because the problem is it's just slow to get in and out of the town. What I might want to do... Oh, it's because there's a traffic light here. That's actually the big cause of this problem. If I were to go and bulldoze this, and this, and then plant it back down again, I think I would get this to not have a traffic light, which would keep the traffic flowing. No, we still got the traffic light. If it was a one-way, then we wouldn't have that. Or if it came at the end of the street, we wouldn't have it. Like,
I mean, the best way for you to fix the traffic in and out of that industry area is probably changing it to 2 one-way roads.
That's probably it entirely. And by doing that, again, that's like eliminates the traffic lights, which is good. I can have a flow. I'm trying to decide where I want those intersections to be. You know what we'll do is something like this. And yeah, it's not the direction of the ramps, it's the fact that they were generating traffic lights that was slowing things down. The direction of the ramps made it look derpy.
Oh, I like that. I like the design. It was very modern.
The S was very cool. I like the S. We might go and clone that again. So let me go. 4 lanes, one ways would be kind of nice too, just from a visual point of view. You don't need them technically.
Yeah,
but they
but
would
they're
look nice.
They're good looking, and I mean, it's always nice to have even more options. So look at that. There's flying traffic.
Yeah, when you pause the traffic like that, it's always pretty funny.
It's a little snake.
Oh, here's what I can do. I can have it flow in through here and then out over here, and that would keep the traffic by the cargo thing going really, really well. So let's delete this and that. I'm going to grab a triple lane here. This is going to be the out.
This must be the worst kind of backseat driving, when there's someone looking at what you did 1 minute ago and criticizing you for it.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I like the feedback a lot, but it's very, very difficult to try to manage, because it's like, wait, what are you talking about? The thing that's on my screen now? Oh, what was I looking at 50 seconds ago? Oh, I don't remember anymore. Let's see, if I do it this way, then what's nice about it is it doesn't create intersections. And then
yeah,
here,
you always want like distances between roads and intersections, because you know that the tiny roads, they're the worst for traffic. This is starting to look nice.
Oops. Too steep. Try that again. I know, I'm really looking forward to seeing what people are going to put together, because their stuff's going to look just so gorgeous.
Definitely, it's you know, when you're pretty much done with the game. Not that I've been developing it, but I've still been part of the game for a pretty long time, and you still know that there's the polish time and the bug fixing and the pre-release and all that. It's so incredibly infuriating having to wait, because you're always just on the edge of your chair waiting for the next day to happen so you can give the game to the world and they can play it, because that's pretty much what it's all about in the end. So it's, I don't know, this is just watching you play today. I've been stalking you the entire day, and it's really fun.
No, I mean, the thing is, I started doing this stuff because I enjoyed watching other YouTubers. Streaming wasn't as much of a thing at the time. I don't remember if Twitch... No, well, I mean, I started YouTubing 8 years ago, so there was no Twitch. But, you know, I enjoyed that stuff so much, so I was like, well, I could try doing some of that myself. Ooh, I have to make sure I don't zone right up to the on and off ramps, because then people park there to load and unload goods, and it just kills traffic. There we go.
Huh. Oh, that makes a lot of sense now that you mention it. I've been having issues with people parking way too close to intersections, and I didn't think as far.
Yeah, it's not as bad if you've got a multi-lane thing, but especially coming in and off of the highway, it's bad. And yeah, here's another good example, because I think I want... Fucking hell, did I do... No, this is right, it just looks derpy again. But I think I might want to encourage the traffic to come in on the other side of this highway, so that it doesn't line up too much. No, it's okay. Yeah, there's just this really weird sort of like sharp corner coming off the highway that these cars have to do. I don't think it really hurts their speed too much. Actually, what's probably hurting more than anything else is that people are coming onto the highway and then immediately there's an off-ramp right after, and that's not a good way to design things. It should be the other way around.
Oh, I like the little like U-turn thing they have to do. It must be very stressful to go down that highway, kind of be forced to do this really clever turn.
Yeah, well, I hate driving on highways, so like kind of having pity for my own people here. At least in somewhere where I'm not from, like a new road, a new highway experience is bad. Might almost be better coming off there.
Yeah, look at that. It's quickly clogging up. So I hope that this kind of soothes the fear that some people have been having with the whole cars despawning if things get too bad thing that people are talking about a lot. Because as you can see, traffic is still a big issue when it doesn't really work right.
Yeah, the despawning thing makes it so that it's not permanently and completely effed for the entirety of all time.
Basically, if you get just this insane amount of traffic that is clogged up, some of the vehicles in the very back of the traffic will either, if they're citizens, they will like despawn and teleport to their location, or if they're goods, they're going to despawn and be ordered again, so they have a chance to do another route. But it's going to be like it's a small amount of vehicles, and it's very rare. You know, you actually need to just super fudge up traffic for you to.
Yeah, I think I've only noticed it twice so far, and I was pretty thankful when it happened. I was like, that's the warning sign. They should actually not just disappear. They should just explode in a shower of, oh my god, please fix this now. Should be people activating a self-destruct code because your traffic is so damn bad.
Oh, but this is flowing on pretty nice. I mean, it seems like your city's working on.
Yeah, the bottleneck was, I think maybe because they had to do sort of a 360 or 180 turn coming off the highway. I think it did slow them down a fair bit, but I think a big part of the issue was people merging right before an off-ramp, which you do get in real life and is one of my least favorite things in the universe, so I can't believe I was sort of inflicting that on my own little citizens over here.
But that looks super nice now that they're kind of parallel to each other. It looks like it's a super nice in and out flow that just goes naturally. So the road stays the same, but they contribute.
Yeah.
It's oddly poetical to consider your citizens as actually alive.
Trying to give them agency, yeah.
Feelings and pain, mostly pain.
Like here, it might be a good idea. The one road that comes in, my 6-lane, again, the fact that it's a 6-lane is not helping traffic in any way whatsoever, because more lanes don't help traffic, which is a point I keep trying to push out. But this might be a really good example of if I elevated this incoming 6-lane and connected it all the way to the back. So the traffic just feed into the far back of my industrial area, and then from there split and then flow outwards through various different paths. Because there's a bit of a bottleneck. Because the on-ramps are single lanes, a dual-lane on-ramp might be a pretty sexy thing to add in at some point too. Because they like to stay in whatever lane they come in on.
Yeah.
And these guys are all turning left.
You could probably also be helped a bit if you had just like a teensy bit of unzoned or residential zoned on like the inflow, so the cars actually have, you know, they have some distance to drive before they try to get into an industry to on or offload. Because as you see now, they all seem to have a very clear purpose, and it really clogs up.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
They're so confused. They're like ants.
But yeah, actually, I really think that if this were 2-lane, it might even flow better. Or split entirely. So this is the sort of thing that you can like manipulate for ages, and you keep trying to refine and improve. The outflow traffic is fantastic, though. Everything is working really, really well there.
Oh no, but your city's it's shrinking. You have issues with people moving out. I think you might have worked on this area for too long, because there's clearly some other issue going on in the city there.
Yep. I don't know where, though. Oh, we've got some fire problems here a little bit. Bit of a traffic here. I don't know. Still generally pretty happy. I don't see a lot of abandoned buildings.
No, neither do I. I'm trying to figure out why they would want to move out. Maybe there's just not enough to house them. Maybe you need more residential, even though that demand is pretty low too.
They might not have enough jobs. I mean, if the industrial and commercial demand is high, They might
Yeah,
simply
that's
be
true.
looking for more work.
You need to just zone a lot more, push them down.
Yeah, less fine tuning here and more actually just getting it done. Actually, what I'll probably do here is connect something like this or something. Just extend it this way.
Oh, everything really looks like it's snail pace now that you put it on normal speed.
Yeah, I know. I like playing on fast.
It was really fun going back and forth between yours and Arumba's stream because of the difference in speed. It was like just entirely different games almost.
Was he playing on slower speeds?
Yeah, I was playing on speed 1, I think.
Ah, okay. I mean, it looks very cinematic on speed 1. But
does.
I like, I got to get stuff done here.
Oh, that's actually something I'm really looking forward to when people start turning off the UI and like just flying around with the free flow camera.
Oh yeah, I didn't know about that until Marina mentioned it when I was talking to her.
Oh yeah, it's really well hidden down there in the corner. I recently figured it out too. I was like, oh, what kind of UI dev cheats do I need to turn this off? But apparently, don't need any. I don't think we're going to launch with that support, but we had a very rudimentary controller support for recording trailers in the game that I hope that we're going to be able to, in some way, add to the game in the future for people that just want to make these cinematic, free-flowing masterpieces, because it does a lot for the camera work.
That's how you got those to look so cool.
Yes, Xbox controllers are beast. Or actually, I don't know if you use PlayStation nowadays with some kind of console controller.
Yeah, I mean, both work like just natively on PC. It just recognizes it as just a joystick.
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised actually that the arrow keys don't move the camera around.
You can map them to it though, but
I guess
yeah,
that's true. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm more than happy to use WASD, obviously. Hashtag PC Master Race. But I was surprised. I was like, oh, okay. Because I think everyone who sat down the first time when we were at PDXCon tried to use the arrow keys.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know why you expect that though, because honestly, how many games nowadays do that with the arrow keys? It feels very old school.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, PDXCon, now you mention it, that was so much fun just watching everyone play and enjoy the game much. Like, did the room ever empty or was it constantly full? I couldn't check so much because I was in the streaming room, but it felt like it was just traffic there 24/7.
Oh yeah, no, I told a story earlier about on one of the days when it was lunchtime, Arumba Mathis and I were like, you know what, screw lunch, let's just sneak into the Cities Skyline room so we can play some more. And when we got there, it was completely full with other people who were doing exactly the same thing.
Well, I hope their excitement is going to be echoed by the community, because just from what it feels like today, it feels like a majority of people are actually going to be really happy with what they get and see.
I think that's probably true. Trying to avoid making any review-style judgments, but
yeah, just vaguely speaking.
Yeah, in general, yeah. I think people will probably be mostly okay with things, actually, now that you mention it.
Generally, mostly okay. Peer speaker.
I don't like to make definitive statements about things.
No, that's good. You should always be vague.
Yep.
Also, makes it more fun. Look at that. Do you have only clean traffic in your city or clean energy?
I do technically have one oil place because I have an oil thing, but it's actually turned off because I built a dam, and it's like I have unlimited power now, right?
Oh, where's your dam?
I bought like 2 regions just to be able to get to dam the Northern River. Because I noticed on this map the smaller rivers. That's I don't remember if it was you. No, I sent it to David and Marina. The smaller river, when you dam it off, it's a little counterintuitive. There's not enough water that comes through with enough pressure to run the dam.
Yeah.
But this northern one is crazy. It's getting 1,600 megawatts out of that. And if it wasn't so lazy, I would turn off all the windmills to save money. But I'm too lazy, so I'm not doing it.
Also, look nice.
They do look nice too.
That you can eventually just, when you have like a solar plant or something, blow up that dam and flood the city.
Yeah. Oh, the first dam I ever put down in this game resulted in some flooding.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that we're going to add more mechanics to that later. Just have like a huge tidal wave come through and crush buildings and just drown people. And I realize that I sound incredibly statistical now, but then I don't know, isn't it kind of one of the big fun parts about simulation games? That you can
wreck your own stuff?
Yeah, you can wreck your own stuff. I mean, who plays The Sims and doesn't kill people, right? Who hasn't put a sim in a pool and put the ladder, taken the ladder away? It's like, I think that's, if you don't do that, there's something wrong. So, hopefully, there's going to be more dam mechanics in the future.
More damn mechanics. Yeah, well, I mean, other city simulator games have had the ability to call down some disasters on your population.
Yes.
And that was never a big deal for me. I was like, why would I want to destroy my own stuff? But to some people, it's like, no, this is an important and key part of the gameplay. How could you possibly not include this? I'm like, okay, maybe there's something wrong with you, but sure. Who am I to judge?
Honestly, I mean, since what we're living up to the legacy of some really great games in the past. You know, we have the SimCity 4, which I would say is the uncontested master of this genre, and they have had so much time to just add so much functionality. And even though, you know, we're trying to kind of get the core package, there's so many things that people consider the core package nowadays that it's completely impossible to keep up with all that. But then, of course, it's one of those things that give this game 12 years, and I think that we might have everything and a bit more. I think actually, did Marina say that earlier? She said something about 10 years.
Yeah.
That it was an interesting statement, by the way, but I would definitely say that we're going to have a lot more things after a few years of support, especially with modders, and I mean with all the mod tools. Well, they can do so much.
That's it. Whenever someone criticizes any city builder, and they compare it to SimCity 4. It's always what happens. But there's always the caveat. It's like, it's always SimCity 4 with the network augmentation mod, or whatever it's called, the thing that adds like tons more highway support. Yeah, NAM. And it's like, that's always the caveat. It's like, oh, it's the greatest game ever. Well, I mean, you need this mod, obviously. It's like, well, that's very interesting. So what you're really saying is that what makes the best game ever is always the ability to mod and improve it.
Personally, like, I can't speak from a company standpoint, even though I know that everyone at Paradox is just big fans of modding. But personally, I would say it does so incredibly much, because I mean, even though a dev team is large and has a lot of passion and time, you know, if the game is out there for a day, people are going to play it more collectively than any one of us have done as a group on their entire developments time, because, you know, there's just such a huge amount of people playing the game, and they get their ideas and they have their passion and energy. So modding is just a way to make a game into, I mean, I wouldn't say open source, but kind of the same mentality, and just have it to be this shared project of love and passion, which is, I don't know, it's kind of what charms me as a gamer, having people that just want to contribute in that way. So I would say that modding is one of the core things that make a great game.
Yeah, I think especially in simulation, it may be less of an issue in other kind of genres, but simulation and strategy games, and which have, you know, definitely some crossover. I mean, what's a strategy game other than a country simulator in a sense? And that's it. All like my favorite ones, even if something like some Dwarf Fortress. One of the things that makes it so great is the third-party support that people go and put in to try to, you know, resolve the terrible UI, but it turns it into an amazing game by the end of it.
Yeah, definitely. But then on the other hand, as some games have seen, modding support isn't everything. Of course, you need the core game to be good and stable and fun first, and then people can play with it and make all these awesome things. So
right. Well, you need to be able to hit that critical mass. It needs a big enough fan base that you're going to have enough modders making good stuff that keeps it around forever and ever.
Oh, I just have to say, not even your bot thing can spell my name right or wrong, however you want to say it. It must be the most correctly misspelled nickname I've ever seen.
Totally Moo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since it's unfortunately with just one L.
So you're saying you misspelled it.
I misspelled it.
And now the rest of us have to suffer.
Yes, everyone spells it right, but that makes it wrong. That makes sense. Right, actually, I have to leave you now. It seems like it's dinner time.
Okay.
And my girlfriend has been making some minced meat pie, which I can really not say no to.
Ooh, nice.
So I'm going to bail. It's been really, really nice chatting to you. I'm going to continue stalking you for probably the entire evening. So I'm going to eat while I watch you, but not going to let the people in the stream hear me eat. So thanks for having me.
Well, thank you very much for stopping by. It was actually a hoot. Definitely looking forward to continuing to play, and I'm sure I'm going to be bugging you with more, you know, suggestions and demands in the future. So Stay tuned for that.
Did you just say it was a hoot?
It was a hoot, yes.
Is that the most Canadian thing I have ever heard you say, or what?
I don't know what you're talking about, eh?
I didn't even know that expression was real. I thought it was just one of these parody things that you say when you mess with Canadians.
I didn't actually even know that was a Canadian word. Like, you know, you've got those Canadian phrases, you make fun of it, and I didn't realize a hoot was one of those things. But yeah, I don't know. It's been a hoot.
The more you know. All right. Cheers.
All right, thanks a lot. See you later. Alrighty. Well, that was a good talk. I like that. What I think we're going to do is we may take another quick, short break here. I need to refill my tea. Or, more accurately, I need to warm up my tea. And when we get back, we're going to keep building the city and try to keep this resolved. I hope this traffic here is going to be fine. This, we're going to have to figure something out about this. This might require more than one way in. It's a lot of traffic coming this way. I don't know. I don't know what the right solution is here. Some of this might be alleviated simply by connecting up with my other regions, more buses, but I think it's all... Yeah, they're all delivery trucks returning to facilities after making a delivery. So that means they're not using the cargo train terminal. Cargo train terminal is working, right? People are pulling in. Things are happening. Yep, okay. They might be delivering goods to commercial areas. Might be part of what's going on here. Well, we'll figure something out soon. Why are you guys all complaining? Oh, because you don't have enough employees, yeah. So we have to get some workers from point A over to point B. Metro lines! Maybe it's time for metro lines. We have $1.6 million. Let's get some metros. Yeah! Alright, is the ramp... What ramp now? This is going in and in. This is going out and out. They're both... So this is traffic. It's a one-way leading out, so people can go this way. Then they can either go west or east. Okay, we'll check the other ramp in a second. Now that I can focus a little bit more on the chat. And then here, we've got an in and an in going to a one-way that goes in. Okay, so these ramps are fine. This fucker. It's people going here that are trying to come down and then are blocking up here. I think what I'll have to do is split my two ins. Because it's a one-way. It's going the right way, right? Coming off this way, it's a one-way going the right way. It's a one-way going here. So we're going to have to go and do what? Why do they keep doing this? It's one way going here. It's still a one-way coming in. They can go left or right. It's people trying to do lane changes. I mean, that's not the only thing screwing things up. And then they're going this way. They're not, like, instantly trying to leave, are they? Going to the ice cube factory? No, you're trying to get that way. So what I think I'm going to do is we're going to just split the traffic a little differently. Make the lane two-way in. Well, I don't want to make a two-way lane in here. Or here. Roundabout. Roundabout. Now we're talking. I'm not convinced it's going to solve because there's still going to be a lot of people getting to the same lane and then they're waiting. If we got rid of this intersection, well, then that just, does it just push the problem a little further down? Probably. Because no one needs to use the middle lane, even when they're going straight to the end, because they're looking and they're like, I want to eventually make a left turn. They're just like human beings, where I want to eventually make a left turn, so I better get in the left goddamn lane right away. And therefore never solve anything. Roundabout. That is the solution, because it gets rid of these intersections and the stoplights and keeps traffic flowing. Let's get rid of all of this over here. Let it run for a sec so things disappear. We've got the big roundabout as well. Oh, that's... okay, that may be a little too big. Let's go something like this. It's a regular road. We're actually going to delete this, make it an explicit one-way coming in. Like so. Then things will enter and we'll start turning the corners. Now, do this. This is still not ideal, because right now there's going to be switches from dual lane to quad lanes. But I'm very curious to see if this might alleviate things, because it's going to split the traffic up a little bit better, isn't it? They still have to wait to come in. Oh, and actually, I don't want anyone coming anywhere else. Oh, yes. Look at this. This is going to be an example where I want only exits from this roundabout. No local traffic can come in here. We're going to go exit. Hold on, straight line. As short as possible. Exit. 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 And then, just so that we can have some local services, you know, we can zone along it. We'll instantly split. Now, obviously, there's not going to be any traffic coming the other way. Now, all you can do is leave and split. And then there's going to be some things, you know, operating locally, doing little U-turns. See, the traffic's coming in relatively nonstop. There's still, the problem is there's just too much traffic coming in here. There's just too much. Even when the traffic's not stopping at all. Well, it might be getting better. If we let it run for a minute or two, it might actually be fixing itself here. No one can leave. What are you talking about? Everyone can leave. They can leave here. You can only come into the roundabout here. You have to leave from every other exit, no matter what. No one can come into the roundabout. And then once they're in a town, they can use the local roads and eventually have to exit over here. We might want to put another exit over here, depending on how busy it gets down here. People doing little U-turns. Why would you turn left there at all? Why would anyone make a left turn here? There's no services on that road. Here, let's just ban them from doing that. I still like the idea. People will come here, service here, do little U-turns. I don't know where that car is going. It's probably going to one of these places. Or not. No, seriously. Okay. Mr. Donut Van. This is a one-way. That's a one-way. Where are you going? Oh, you were going there. That's legit. Oh, maybe what I'm seeing people spawn here, and then, of course, they would turn all the way around and go here. That's fine. Just got to keep an eye on everyone else making a left turn here. Some of those may be left over from earlier path findings. Okay, no, you're legitimately local traffic. That's good. Still a bit backed up here. And yeah, it's mostly people going down here because they're mostly going to the cargo factory. So I think one of the mistakes is everyone who's coming in here wants to go to the cargo factory. So, okay, where the fuck are these trucks coming from? Garments Limited, from there. You had to leave? Do you have to leave and then come back on and you're making some sort of weird loop? No, no, you're legitimately coming home. Where are you going? You're going to the cargo truck terminal. Okay. No, you're... Things are being dropped off at this cargo terminal that are supposed to go here. The trains can only leave one direction. Oh, this ramp here. That's true. I think they actually turn around in here because what you're not getting, and I mean, yes, this road is not helping us, but the trains, I think, yeah, when they arrive, they despawn, and then when we get enough deliveries, a new one spawns from scratch. But I don't know if this is actually going to enable anything more, but it might. That's properly connected? Yes. Okay. So now we got a couple of different options. But yeah, there's still just too many people coming to this cargo place. So what we want is like... a direct route. Next time we build a cargo place, we want it to be right off the highway, and we want it to be alone. So that there's no other local traffic. Still, things are flowing. And yes, we'll use the metro for passenger traffic, which this is not. It's all freight that's causing the problem. But some of our businesses are complaining because they're not getting enough employees, and we will resolve that with metro. But first, we're going to take a break. When I come back, we will metro this bitch up. Oh no, everyone is dying. Actually, that's not dying. This is, we've got bodies everywhere because we probably don't have enough death care. I expect. We've got a couple of cemeteries, but I think they're currently full. Let's do a little bit of that. Okay, short break. Be back in just a minute, guys. Well, probably 5 minutes.